Hello and welcome to another session where we're going to talk about some grade 10 math. We're using IXL to generate some questions for us to help our discussion. Feel free to explore that further or use your own platform, your own book, whatever you're comfortable with, but we do need to practice more than what we can do in a short video like this. We're going to quadratic equations and we're going to talk a little bit about completing the square. Always a favorite. Now, let's just think about completing the square a little bit. And yet, let's use a little template here. Let's keep it simple and say x plus, let's say 3, everything squared. And we'll look at variations in a second. Let's just look at a specific example. You have to remember the formula. Let's put the little, maybe an A. It is the first one squared, the product of the two times 2, and the last one squared plus. So when I have a 3 here, for example, let's make that pink. Let's say I have a plus 3. Then I still get my first one squared. Product of the 2 times 2 will now be a 6x. Last one squared will be a 9. Let us just check one with a minus. I think I have space there. If I say x minus 3 squared, first one squared, product of the 2 times 2 will then be a negative 6x. Always plus the last one squared. Because it's a square, it'll always be a positive 9. But still I have this 2a and a squared in my formula. So now, when we complete the square, we are given the first 2 terms in this 3-term answer. And we have to reverse it to find what is the bracket squared. So I'm looking for this to be something squared. Now let's do it in a more detailed way initially, okay? M is my variable. I'm going to go with a minus because I see here the result after I simplify this is a minus, and I'm only going to get that if I start with a minus. So I'll do it as a minus a. So let's just see what we get here. I know there's a lot of letters here, but by this stage we should be more comfortable with it. First one squared, remember that's my variable. And if it makes you feel any better, I think actually, let's make ourselves feel a little better. And let's make that an x. Usually people are a little more comfortable with that. And once they learn the technique and understand what's going on here, then we can mix up the variables so we don't get too attached with the variable name x. So let's do that. Match it more easily to the top. First one squared, product of the 2 times 2, last one squared. I have a minus, so I'm looking more at this one over here on the right. Sometimes I'll have a plus, sometimes I'll have a minus. So I'm looking at this one. Let's maybe erase the other one so we know where to look. So now I have to think, okay, well, this over here, let's make it pink, is negative 14. That tells me that the value of a because it's always 2a has to be 7. I can then go back and say, okay, well, a squared then has to be 49. So I use the middle term and the pattern that I know it follows, using the actual number they give me to decipher what a, that second number in the bracket, is going to be, or has to be. And that tells me what the third term should be to complete this square. To be able to factor this as a bracket squared, that third term has to be 49 because it is always a squared. So that is the basic idea behind completing the square. Trying to fill in that third term so that this factors to a bracket squared. Of course, there are more complicated situations. We're taking a first step. Let's do it again. They're persistent with mixing up their variables, aren't they? I'm not ready yet. You know, maybe I am not ready. And I'm going to, not pink though. I am going to just be a little bit more comfortable. And maybe I want to see an X there. That's my personal preference. I know I shouldn't be too attached to it, but you know what? I'm still learning. I need it, and that's okay. So I'm trying to make this look like this. And I know how to simplify this. This simplifies to first one squared, product of the 2 times 2, last one squared. And this second term has a plus because I started with a plus, as we saw last time. So now let's go pink here. Where's my color? Pink. And I know, okay, this, I'm only interested in the coefficient, is 18. That tells me that the value of a has to be 9. I can then follow that to the last term and know, well, it has to be 81. It has to be 9 squared. There's only one third term that fits with this so that I can write it as a bracket squared. There's a very strong connection between these two, the coefficient and the last term. So we'll fill in 81 because that's the only one that will allow me to simplify this or factor this as a bracket squared. And it's really that simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It is wonderful indeed. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to a different variable name, r in this case. I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for r plus a number, everything squared. I know how this simplifies. I'm not too attached to the x now that I've built up some experience. First one squared, product of the 2 times 2, and I write my variable last one squared. Remember, a is a constant number, r is the variable. So now I know, well, this coefficient of r has to be 24. It is given. I don't have a choice. And everything follows from that. That a, therefore, has to be 12. And the third term that has to fit with this is 12 squared, 144. There is no choice. Everything comes from this 24 in this basic situation. I want to master this basic situation. Don't move too fast and put other numbers in front of that variable squared. That is bad times. Now, I'll put in my 144. It doesn't have to be more complicated than this. But still, I'm relying as much as I can on, yes, there's a formula here, sure. There are efficiencies here. But I always make sure I understand what is happening. And then I'm flexible to build on this and make things more complicated down the line. I'm not attached to the variable anymore. The variable name can be anything. I understand what's going on. Understanding beats memorizing every time. There are some formulas for convenience, sure, but watch out to not rely on them too heavily. Let's submit that. We will keep it up, but you're going to keep it up with this next one. Use the exact same strategy as we just did 3 times, and let me know in the comments what you think this number should be in order to write this as a bracket squared. We will end it there. Practice, practice, practice. Understand what you're doing, and everything will be good. Until next time.
Welcome to MathCats, where we aim to better understand mathematics. Join us weekly for discussions on elementary, high school, through to university math. You can request the next topic by leaving a comment on our YouTube channel or by emailing us at mathcats314@gmail.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.